Part 3, 30. Day. The letter that changed everything. Recovery didn't arrive like sunlight. It came like dawn, quiet, slow, almost invisible unless you were watching closely. By the third month, Naomi could breathe again. The contract job had turned steady. The tiny two-bedroom flat above a shop felt crowded, but safe. Marcus's warehouse hours had increased, and his tenacity for work has set the eyes of management on him for a promotion. The children were laughing more, sleeping deeper, arguing about homework instead of money or food. For the first time in nearly a year, Naomi caught herself thinking, maybe we're past the worst. Then the letter arrived, not from her new employer, from her old one, EOR Industries. The name alone made her stomach tighten. She stood in the hallway reading it twice, then a third time. The letter stated, "You are requested to appear before the Financial Investigations Bureau for questioning related to transactions conducted during your employment period." Naomi's hands went cold. Financial Investigation Bureau, questioning, transactions. She hadn't touched company accounts in months. What was going on? She reread the lines until the words blurred. Marcus noticed. "What is it?" She handed him the paper. He didn't speak for a long time. At the bottom of the page, a sentence that confused her. "This inquiry follows internal audits and disciplinary actions taken against several senior staff members." Boy. 2 days later, Naomi sat inside a gray waiting room that smelled like disinfectant and fear. A ticking clock, plastic chairs, people avoiding eye contact. She folded her hands so tightly her fingers ached. This can't be happening, she thought. We just stood up again. Things just started getting all right. An officer finally called her name. Inside the room, files were stacked across a metal table, thick ones, with her name written on the side. Naomi's breath caught. A man in a dark jacket slid a folder toward her. "We're not accusing you," he said carefully, "but your name appears repeatedly in documents connected to missing funds." Struggling to breathe, she muttered, "Missing funds." She quickly opened the file. Her heart pounded in her ears. In the file were spreadsheets, transfers, authorization forms, and then signatures, her signature, or something trying very hard to be, crooked, heavy-handed, wrong. "That's not mine," she whispered, pointing at the signatures. The investigator nodded slowly. "We believe that too." He pulled out another sheet. Internal emails, executive approvals, messages discussing how to attach responsibility lower down the chain. Another phrase circled in red, "Scapegoat candidate." Naomi swallowed. They were planning to blame me? Yes. Then came the part that stunned her most, a different file, thinner, handwritten notes, a staffing spreadsheet, one name circled in pen, hers. Beside it, a note, "Add to downsized list immediately." Naomi stared. "What is that?" The investigator leaned back. "One of your colleagues added you to the redundancy list 2 days before the audit became public." "Why?" Naomi asked. He hesitated. "They later testified they were uncomfortable with what senior management was planning. They believed you were being positioned to take the fall." Naomi's chest tightened. When this colleague's name was mentioned, she barely remembered the man. Quiet. Kept to himself, not in her department, someone she had barely spoken to. He said removing you from the building may have kept you out of reach while the paperwork was being manufactured. The room spun. If she hadn't lost her job, if she had still been there, her name would have been attached to crimes she didn't commit, manipulated books, hidden losses, forged approvals. She pictured handcuffs, courtrooms, headlines, her children watching from benches, her life erased by a lie. Naomi pressed her hand to her mouth. "So, losing my job may have saved you," the investigator finished. She laughed, once tears and realization flooding her face and mind. A broken sound. Then covered her face. All those nights crying, sleeping on floors, selling her ring, being evicted. She had thought that was the disaster. And yet, something worse had been waiting behind a desk. They cleared her that same afternoon, formally, in writing. She walked out into sunlight, feeling like she'd escaped something she hadn't even known was chasing her. At home, Marcus listened in silence while she told him everything. The forged signatures, the scapegoat plan, the colleague who quietly added her name to the layoff list. When she finished, he exhaled slowly. "So, the worst thing that ever happened to us might have kept me out of prison," Naomi whispered. They sat there holding hands, neither of them speaking, both imagining the life they hadn't lived. That night, Naomi watched her children sleeping, curled on mattresses, homework spread across the floor, breathing softly. She thought about how close everything had come to shattering even further, how a single name on a list had changed the direction of their lives. The weeks kept moving, Marcus was offered a permanent contract, with benefits. Naomi's role became full-time, not glamorous, but honest, stable. The kind of job you protect fiercely after learning how fast the ground can vanish. They started saving again, slowly, coins in jars, numbers scribbled in notebooks, hope measured carefully. One evening, Marcus cooked noodles while Naomi balanced a budget sheet. "We're okay," he said. She nodded. "I know," then added softly. "We almost weren't." Some injustices happen in courtrooms, some in offices, behind closed doors, inside spreadsheets and signatures. Some never make headlines, because someone quietly intervenes, or fate moves first. Naomi no longer called the layoff bad luck. She called it something else, a door that slammed, so another could close behind it. If you're watching this thinking your collapse ruined your life, sometimes the fall is what pulls you out of the line of fire. Part 3 isn't just about rebuilding. It's about realizing how close you came to losing even more. If this story made you realize that some of the tears you cried, some of the losses you suffered, or even the worst moment of your life didn't destroy you, but quietly protected you from something far worse, send this to someone who might still be living in their part 2, waiting to reach their part 3. And if you're already in your part 3, subscribe for part 4, like, share. Your next chapter might be closer than you think.